After months of limping on her broken legs and trying to escape her stalkers, the poor mother began hiding inside an orphanage, singing a lullaby for her newborn baby Lou. When the owner of the orphanage came to kick her out, she took one last glance at her baby and asked the lady to look over him while she got some medicine. But after the lady agreed and saw his walnut pendant, the mother disappeared, never to be seen again. Her stalkers killed her before she could return, leaving her son to be raised at the orphanage where all the other kids bullied him for being ugly. But there was a single girl who cared about him, who tried protecting him from all the abuse, and even when he was dying of cancer, she would bring him warm water to help him get better. And so the years passed until he finally snuck out of the orphanage. But he couldn't bring K-Day with him, as he didn't want her to live the miserable life he was headed towards. He began failing all his classes, and since no one ever tried helping him, he began selling expired eggs just to keep on. Living his life felt meaningless, and as he was about to give up, the single ray of hope that could save him appeared before his eyes. But although he was happy to see her, he tried taking her back to the orphanage, but she begged to stay by his side, as he was the only family she ever had. His house was the first place she ever felt home in. But even when his eggs wouldn't sell, and even when their only food was the garbage in the alleys, she never left him. Day after day, and even through the freezing winters, she stayed by his side as his illness grew worse, taking care of him the same way she did when he was young, and would even sell his eggs to help him rest, because as long as she got to live with him, it didn't matter how many days they went without food in the freezing winter. As they became each other's warmth, his only wish was to one day make enough money to give her everything she desired. So on one evening, he decided to take her to a festival and bought her all the candy she could ask for. As they walked over to see the main event, the flames nearly burnt Lou's face off, but in that instant time froze. The entire universe had been held at a standstill, and the walnut pendant glowed in a golden hue. Nobody else noticed it, but Lou realized that the man in front of him wasn't creating optical illusions, but that all of his powers were likely magic. When the show was over, Lou wanted to know the source behind his flames, so he snuck into the backstage with his sister. As they watched the mysterious men speak, one of them fired a tranquilizer at the magician, and Cade screamed in fear. Their positions were compromised, but Lou said it's not like they saw them shoot the man dead in front of them and were going to report it to the police or anything like that. The dumb asses actually bought his lies. So Lou tried running away, but their leader felt uneasy letting Lou leave. As they walked away, a man asked them if they would be interested in spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, but Lou said he wasn't interested in his crypto rug pull and walked away. He was already broke after getting into crypto and wondered how their world had become so horrible. So to comfort him, Cade reminded him that they're not blood-related. While he was preparing dinner, she told him that the only thing she wants to eat was his nuts. Sorry, I meant his walnut. But Lou decided to just leave and get her some ramen instead. As he crossed the street in the freezing snow, Truck-kun was finally about to ease another victim and completely smashed Lou. His soul began leaving his body as Truck _ transported his soul into an Ikai anime. But because this is a Chinese anime, the god of the world bestowed Lou with a cheat leveling system, and the walnut on his pendant began floating as he ascended to the sky. The walnut finally broke open and released all of its energy into restarting his heart after he resurrected from death. There was one thing on his mind: he will never be broke again. So he began telling the man to give him all his money, but random numbers began popping up above him until he ran away. At the corner store, he tried buying ramen, but the store manager was shocked to see the blood falling from his head. So Lou ran away and bumped into a couple on his way home. As soon as he arrived, Lou went inside to take a bath and noticed how the wound had completely healed away, but there was now a golden scar on his hand. When he tried activating it, he saw a lottery system letting him know all the coins he's gathered, and he realized that those must have came from everyone's negative emotions. He decided to consume all of his balance into a wheel of fortune, because crypto gambling wasn't enough. As soon as he was about to lose all of his money without a single reward, the last spin finally landed on the jackpot, and a scroll appeared before his eyes. It had the same lyrics as the lullaby his mother sang for him, so he began singing it out with the words of the song. The scroll disintegrated into an energy orb in front of him, and from the distant galaxies a light speared towards the earth, and Lou began absorbing all of it. When he opened his eyes, he was floating in front of a solar system, but after losing all his coins, he realized that he could become rich by pissing off his sister all night while they stayed up watching Saisuke animes. Lou felt a sudden explosion inside of his body, so when he he went on the roof to investigate, he saw two suspicious men. Hopping on the top of the roofs before he was spotted, Lu tried covering his mouth, but the men had already noticed his presence. They asked him what he was doing up here, so Lu said it wasn't like he noticed how suspiciously they were jumping around like superhumans or anything like that. The dumbass morons actually believed him again and told him to go home before leaping away. As he waited inside, Cade wondered who he was talking to, but a man fell outside the window, so Lu forced his sister to stay inside. While he went to check, her anger allowed him to gain a lot more coins, but she sneaked out from behind him and told him to call the ambulance. But Lu was too broke to pay the fee he wanted to just leave him outside. But when the system granted him coins, Lu realized that the man was pretending to be unconscious. He told his sister that they will just leave his body to freeze all night, just like his girlfriend who dumped him after having a train ran on her by 3 men because he was too ugly. After that violation, he gained coins, and Lu was glad that he was on his way to becoming the next demon lord. The man tried begging for water, so Lu gave him a yellow snowball instead, but the man blew it away and begged for water again. However, Lu started pushing him down and farming his axe for coins. He told him that he was just trying to help him rest, but the man had enough and grabbed his arm, trying to burn it off in an instant. However, his heart negated the burn and began dissipating the fire. No matter how many times he tried, he continued gaining coins off this dumbass interaction. So the man said he was just kidding and wanted to leave. As he got up, Lu told him to avoid the alleys because he might see his wife cheating on him again, and smiled like a ruthless _ savage. While going back to his home inside his room, he decided to spend all his coins buying the first item and ate the celestial fruit. Before he knew it, a light beam rushed towards him from the edge of the cosmos, and he was transported back into his solar system, where the celestial fruit became another planet with all the energy leaving his body. He snapped back to reality and saw the tree on his hand. He was now able to carry the bed up with ease, so he wanted to begin farming up even more coins. Seeing the fire on the news, he decided to create a different flame war in his school's group chat, and he gained thousands of points instantly. At his shop the following morning, some of his classmates saw him selling eggs, but pretended like they didn't see him. This had become his daily life. He told the man next to him and explained how most people were too embarrassed to be friends with a broke guy. After letting those words out, Dowing approached Lu and tried making fun of him for being poor, but Lu said that the only thing poorer than his caterpillar eyebrows was that year-old looking ass receding hairline. Applause. However, he had a secret for how to fix his ugly ass face that disgusted everyone away, and how to get his hairline to look as good, roast ugly baldies, and impress hot girls with your perfect hair. So he decided to buy all the eggs to act rich. However, Lu was a genius and gave him all of them, announcing that some _ just purchased all of his eggs and gaining thousands of coins in the process. The guy tried flashing his VIP card as a source of payment, knowing that Lu can't accept card payments. However, money was stacked on the table, and the main love interest Syria finally entered the chat. She walked off, and Lu told the lackey to shower next time because his breath stinks worse than his attitude at class. Everyone sees the news of the superhuman awakeners roaming the world, and one of the kids screams that an awakener was found on the rooftop. As Lu got closer, his body sensed the danger surrounding him, and while running up the stairs, he realized that the girl from earlier was another awakener on the rooftop. The delinquent threatened to throw the principal off, but Lu thought this was a good time to call his classmate ugly to gain more coins. Seeing all the ugly CGI characters, Lu realized this was the perfect chance to farm even more coins. The student raised the principal up, threatening to throw him because he's too young to go to jail, but Lu stepped up and began reciting the _ Constitution. He told him that he was committing a serious crime and gained thousands of coins when everyone thought he was being a _ as everyone was distracted by Lu's dumb. The officers ran towards the man and neutralized him. One of the girls came up to him and thought it was so hot how he saved the day, but he told her that he's not interested in girls that look like men. Damn, this was exactly everything he needed to get all the Fortnite V-Bucks he wanted. But when he entered class, he saw two suspicious scientists standing in the room, and they were about to force him to have a blood test. Without anywhere to escape, Lu was forced to take the men's small syringes inside of him. Walking back home, he saw the weirdo from earlier. Home, he saw how his sister had developed a fever from all the cold weather, so he tried gambling for a celestial fruit that could cure his sister. After spins, he was about to lose all of his money, but he finally won one of the fruits. After winning 4 more of the fruits, he fed them to his sister, and her fever instantly disappeared. Throughout the day, he decided to give her the rest of his fruit, saying that consuming them will allow her to become awakened like him. However, he begins farming up coins again by calling her useless for not ever doing her homework and that her family abandoned her because she was such an ugly, useless loser. What did he say? The following morning, the teacher explains that special students will be taught under a new instructor, and Lou remembers seeing him before. One of the girls was Syria, and one by one the teacher called everyone up until Lou was the last student. Additionally, a new transfer student called Jang will be joining the class, so the girl sitting next to Lou offered her seat because she doesn't want to deal with his stinky smell. Every day at night, Lou went to attend the secret class and wondered why the suspicious man was going to be their teacher. The man revealed that all their blood was tested with a special alloy, and the darker the mixture their blood created, the higher their ranking from A to F. Those with the highest ranks are capable of annihilating entire cities, and he dismissed them after revealing everyone's ranking. After class, everyone talked badly behind Lou's back since he was stuck at Frank, but Lou wasn't at all bothered by the others texting them that their moms are Frank. At night, Lou consumed the last of his celestial fruit and saw that it was now purchasable in his item shop. He wondered if his Wheel of Fortune has unlocked a new item, but this time it was some expired tofu. With his remaining coins, he began rolling all night, and after hours of burning through his coins, he finally hit the jackpot and unlocked a new scroll. But before he could read it, the scroll's energy snapped into Kaide's head, and a dark energy emanated from the heavens, allowing her to see the solar system as well as he. Laid in bed, he wondered if there was a connection between their two solar systems, but saw that he needed to roll more expired tofu before he could unlock a new item. He wondered if he could turn his coins into cash, so the following morning, he began spreading the expired smell around, allowing him to gain extra coins. But when one of the people tried it and thought it was delicious, the entire town lined up to try some of it. Days began passing with him being a straight-up menace in society, and before long, he unlocked every star one by one. His life had began taking a new turn, allowing him to sell his stinky foods for more money while also gaining as much coins as possible. Before long, he summoned the last of the celestial foods, and his solar system was finally complete. The same song he heard when he was a baby began emanating from around him, and he consumed the energy of the star, exploding it into a million different flames. A mysterious dagger appeared before his eyes, and he realized that the giant star was his soul this entire time. So he tried summoning the sword using his soul power. Using it, however, completely exhausted all of his energy, and he wondered just how powerful he would become once he completed all 7 solar systems. The following day, the teacher introduced them to the Spirit Stone, a powerful item that unlocks hidden powers through meditation. At home, Lou tried combining its power with his new sword, but the sheer violence of his celestial map nearly overwhelmed him. As he walked outside, he noticed a strange old man practicing his swordsmanship, and the old man tried showing off, but Lou had already disappeared. At school, the class leader shows off his strength in arm wrestling by defeating everyone, but when Lou appears, he tries challenging him to a duel. However, Lou was as still as a statue and crushed all of his hopes, telling him that they can try with the other hand if he was unsure once again. He completely destroyed him and thanked him for allowing him to awaken once again. During lunch, Lou hadn't had enough of farming people for coins, so he released his toxic gas food to gain even more because he's the menace spirit reincarnated. During midnight, his mind quaked, and he told his sister to stay quiet while he went to investigate. He saw a Chinese Aaron Jagger bowing his head, and the old man welcomed him as the leader of the heavenly network. With the world being at war, the mysterious leader asked him if he would like to become the last heavenly network member, but Mr. Lee rejected his offer. The man told him that their truce would be the only thing that could bring peace, but left and promised